Hello everyone. I chose to look at Maria Montessori mainly because I am an early childhood teacher and she has been very instrumental in the way early childhood students are taught. I will start by giving a brief history on her. Maria Montessori was born in Italy on August 31, 1870. At a young age, Maria attended an all-boys school where she had high hopes of becoming an engineer. She changed her career field and started attending medical school at the Sapienza University of Rome. She became one of the first women to graduate from that university. But how did she make the switch from wanting to be a physician to an educator? Well, during her practice as a physician, as part of her job, she would visit one of the asylums in Rome. She would treat, as they were called in those days, children with mental disorders. She says that on one of her visits, the caretaker told her that the children grabbed crumbs off the floor after their meal. Maria realized that in such a bare, unfurnished room, the children were in need of sensory stimulation and activities for their hands. Maria concluded that the lack of stimulation was contributing to their condition. She started to focus on learning more about children with physical disabilities. Maria worked with these children and began to spark more attention. She advocated the theory that a lack of adequate provision for these children with mental and emotional disorders was the main cause for their delinquencies. She asked for special training for teachers working with special needs children. This notion of social reform through education was an idea that was to develop and mature in Montessori thinking throughout her life. She observed children playing and realized that they were drawn to and experimented with games and toys that assisted them in learning. Based on these observations, she designed the Casa di Bambini, I hope I pronounced it correctly, Casa di Bambini, otherwise called Children's House. Children's House was filled with books and furnishings that were specially designed for children where kids prepared and served meals. These children were engaged in activities where they used cutout letters to teach each other and to read and write. They were given freedom to move around. They practiced doing buttons, ties, and laces. Maria also realized that these children showed interest in the activities that they observed around their homes, such as washing the floor and sewing. She concluded that doing these tasks, which were referred to as work, assisted students in becoming independent. These observations allowed Maria to see a new way of teaching, and this philosophy of teaching remains in existence to this day. Montessori schools are now seen in lots of countries implementing Maria's new way of teaching. More than 100,000 US kids attend a Montessori public school. The Montessori classrooms are child-centered. The traditional classrooms will be seen where the teacher sits on a chair or stands in front of students who are seated on chairs in rows. The Montessori classrooms are one in which the children will be seen in groups, working together or individually or seated on the floor. They usually have a say in where they want to work. These classrooms are warm and inviting, filled with plants, animals, music, books, and specialized hands-on materials. They are designed to allow children to move around freely and work in small collaborative groups. These classrooms focus on the whole child, intentionally designed to move away from the traditional adult-centered classroom to an environment that is designed to facilitate the development of a child's independence and sense of personal empowerment. Maria's teachings are still being used today in our modern classroom and are still relevant. The question was asked, how can a philosophy that was developed over a century ago still be relevant today? The response to that is that how humans learn has not changed. The way in which children learn from their environment and their experiences remains the same as when Maria started exploring the way in which children learn. Her methods have influenced educators in the modern world and are still being implemented in classrooms today. Maria interacted with students who would be deemed different to teach. She observed them and realized the children are naturally smart and curious. She realized during her interactions with them that they learn easier when they were given freedom to explore their natural curiosities. She feels that learning turns into fun and play when a child is learning about something that is interesting to them. In the preschools and kindergarten classes today, you will see child-sized tables, hands-on games, and lots of other opportunities to play at school. Kids are even allowed to sit on the floor because Maria allowed this in her first school in 1906. Maria believed in positive discipline. In today's classroom, teachers shy away from any form of incentives as a means of rewarding students. Maria instigated the idea of discipline as that of self-control and self-directed activity. Teachers today ensure that students are intrinsically motivated, which enhances engagement and enables students to perform better. In today's classroom, teachers try as much as possible to act as facilitators. Students are given the freedom to choose their centers and activities, and teachers simply supervise, they guide, and coordinate games for the students. They intervene as little as possible. And I can recall back in the days when group teaching was the order of the day. Students were given the same instructions irrespective of their abilities and their interest. With the knowledge of the Montessori system of education, teachers ensure that individual attention is paid to students. This attention is based solely on their abilities and interests. This is to ensure that each child develops in his or her own unique way. Maria believes that what the hand does, the mind remembers. She believes that children need to use manipulatives, and she developed lots of these manipulatives. They were designed to help students in understanding concepts. Well, in my classroom today, I ensure that for every concept, I try as much as possible to include some of these manipulatives. The lecture method of teaching, especially for this age group, will not be effective. I will end this presentation with one of Maria's quote. It says, "The greatest gifts we can give our children are the roots of responsibility and the wings of independence." I hope you enjoyed this presentation and have gained some insight. Bye.